Okay, see only few points. Okay, what is a DHCP server? What DHCP server do? Okay, it assign an IP address to the client devices automatically. Okay, and what is the advantage of using DHCP server? What is the advantage of using DHCP server? The second one is, and the configuration means not DHCP server side, client side. Which option is for manual configuration? Which option you choose for to get a DHCP? And another one is when you check your IP address, you got IP address from DHCP server or it is configured manually. How can you understand it? Okay, by looking at that configuration. Okay, DHCP enable yes. DHCP server it is showing the IP address is configured DHCP server. And if it is showing DHCP enabled no, and you are seeing an IP address, it is IP address is configured manually. Okay. And these DHCP servers, maybe your Wi-Fi router is act like a DHCP server. In some organization, they use Windows server as a DHCP server or Linux server. They make the Linux server as a DHCP server. So, okay. So, yeah, Dora process that much is not required, but guys, if you see the main another point what is here, when you check an IP address, if you see DHCP enabled yes, DHCP enabled yes, but IP address is showing 169.254 dot something dot something. So I'm going to my ncpa.cpl. Okay. So for example, this is manually configured IP address. What I have done, so I am trying to get IP address from DHCP server. So change configuration, update IP address automatically. So check the IP address, see the IP address, not showing. Wait for a second. Yeah, now it is showing. See the IP address 169.254 dot some number dot something like that, right? Why it is showing 169.254? Okay. The system try to get an IP address from DHCP server, right? Here is a DHCP server. It's a client. Client is try to get IP address from DHCP server. If it is failed to get an IP address from DHCP server, system itself assign an IP address in the APIPA range. In the APIPA range. APIPA means automatic private IP address. Automatic private IP address. Okay. What is APIPA? Automatic private IP address. And the range is 169.254.0.1 to 169.254.255.254. Actually can take from 0 to 255 kind of stuff, but I'm written valid range only. If system is unable to get IP address from DHCP server, the system assign an IP address itself from APIPA range. When you check an IP address and the IP address DHCP enable yes, and IP address is automatic auto configuration IPv4 address, and IP address is 169.254. It means the IP address is APIPA address. It is in the APIPA range. Meaning is the NIC is failed to get an IP address from DHCP server. Okay, failed to get an IP address from DHCP server. It means error. Understand guys, what is APIPA? Automatic private IP address. Why you will get an IP address? APIPA if you are failed to get an IP address from DHCP server. Okay, when you change network, our IP address changes according to network. If not changes, then okay, this is, we will mask it. I'll put it in different ways. Okay. Oh, okay. This is, we cannot mask. These 2 points I will add here. Okay, it's confuse the people. Okay. So you got IP address 169.254 dot something dot something. It means you got an IP address. What you will do? Check DHCP server. Go to the DHCP server and make sure that your DHCP server is available. Okay, make sure the DHCP server connectivities. Okay, make sure DHCP server connectivities, IP address available in DHCP server. Okay, and another one is make sure that is your device not in denial list. Okay, not in a denial list. Make sure that your device is not in a denial list. So that is a one important. Okay, so what to do? Check DHCP server connectivity. DHCP server and DHCP server connectivity. Make sure DHCP services runs and check the available IP addresses. Make sure your DHCP server not in the list. Okay, deny list means sometimes in the DHCP server we can configure deny list, so you cannot get an IP address from it. Another one is, okay, this is server side. What you do in a client side. Client side, this is a client side, guys. Go to ncpa.cpl, right click, you can disable the adapter and enable the adapter like this. Of course, for this adapter, it won't work. Okay, so in case you got APIPA, disable the adapter, enable the adapter, but that is after you troubleshoot DHCP related issues. Okay, you have to troubleshoot DHCP related issues. Okay, so disable and enable. Another one is in the command prompt, you can use these commands. It's like a ipconfig space /release to remove the old IP address and renew to get a new IP address. Ipconfig release to remove your old IP address and to get a new IP address. So ipconfig renew. So this is my DHCP server. As you asked, like a, so this is the scope. My address pool is 10.0.0.100 to 200. In that one, some IP addresses I am accepted, means I don't want to give these IP addresses to network, so I will use it later. This address list, these two devices got an IP address of these things. Or one is 105, another one is 111. Okay, so here it is. This is my client PC. Yeah, we change the password, right? So in the command prompt, what I'm going to do is better we have to increase the properties font So font is like a 24 is good, 28 is good. Yeah, this is good. Okay. IP config. So I got an IP address like this. Subnet mask, default gateway. Check IP config space. See, dhcp enable yes. My IP address, subnet mask, lease duration, default gateway, dhcp server address, and DNS server address. DNS server address. Okay. So in case, what I'm going to do is I want to get a new IP. So like in case I got a APIPA address. So I got an APIPA address in case, for example. So maybe um, this server is disconnected. So I cannot be able to get an IP address. Or maybe this service is down. You can see the DHCP service is down. I can right click. Can we change any service related? Deactivate. Okay, if service is down. So then we can able to. So possibility is like we can task. Okay, if this service is down. So what happened? We can't able to get a IP address. So go to the server, check the service is running or not. Otherwise, restart the service. You can do restart the service. So if service is showing running, but still you are not getting an IP address from DHCP server. So what we can able to do it? We can able to restart the service at server. And another one is check how many number of IP addresses are released. Availability of IP address. Not this one. So there is a status, display status. See how many IP addresses are available. 88 IP addresses are available. Okay. If lesser IP address available, then we have to manage. Okay. You can go to the properties, increase size of the network. Instead of 200, put a 220. Then more number of IP address we can get it. Okay. This is server side. If server is connected, service is good. And another one is the number of IP addresses availability. And one more, as I said, that is deny list. Okay. If my adapter is denied, MAC address is denied here. So when you send a request to the client, when you send a request to the server, when client send a request to the server in the deny list, yes, don't give IP address to this one. You are automatic like that. Possibility is there. In a Wi-Fi routers, we can able to deny connectivity to a certain PCs using MAC binding. Same concept. Okay. So you deny certain devices to give a connectivity. So it won't give an IP address. It won't give a connectivity. So that is not getting an IP address. Okay. So this is server side, guys. You have to resolve the server side issues. Once server side issues are resolved, and you should get an IP address properly. When you check an IP address, then it will show clear cut IP address like this, not APIPA address. But still, it is showing an APIPA address. Server side issues are resolved. Client side, you should get an IP address properly, but you didn't get it. Still it is showing APIPA address. In that cases, you can use ipconfig release command. Ipconfig release command to remove the existing configured IP address. It remove existing configured IP address. To get a new IP address from DHCP, renew. Ipconfig space release to remove existing configuration, automatic configuration only. To remove automatically configured IP address, existing configured IP address, use ipconfig space slash release. Okay, ipconfig space slash renew. It means to get a IP address again from the DHCP server using Dora process, that is renew command. I should not do it in my laptop. If I do in my laptop, my main adapter is also IP address will be removed. Now I got an IP address again. Okay, so this is the basic troubleshooting. If you got an IPIPA, means you failed to get IP address from DHCP. Resolve DHCP related kind of stuff. Okay. After resolving also, still you are getting APIPA in the client. In the client, either disable, enable the adapter or use the command ipconfig space slash release ipconfig space slash renew. This is for removing old existing automatic configured IP address. This is to get a new IP address from DHCP server. Automatic configured. There is one more additional point, guys. These commands also work for this kind of stuff. For example, I disconnect from this network and connected to different network. My IP address is not changed. Okay, my IP address is not changed, still showing a old IP address only. Okay, or maybe it is configured manually or not, check it. So if it is configured manually, if you change the network, IP address won't be changed. Okay, IP address won't be changed. Okay, so we have this scenario. We got this problem when I was in a other branch office. So what is that scenario is like this. Here it is a switch boxes are there. To the switches, we have connected a lot of systems. In the classroom, we have almost all 30 computers are there. We got a problem with internet service provider. So for 1 month, so we purchase another internet service also. One is from U Broadband, another one is Airtel. Two routers are there. This is U Broadband ISP. This is Airtel ISP. Okay. So two routers are there. What we have done, both are, it is like a first, we connected to U Broadband to the switch. From switch, we are getting internet. And IP address is also assigned by this router only. Understand? Only one, from one router, we are connecting to the switch. From switch, these computers are connected. And this is act like a DHCP server. Okay, it is act like a DHCP server. This configuration is like this 192.168.1.0 network it is. Okay, so this is network means 1.100, 1.1 like that it we are getting. So that range is also different. 192.168.1.100 is the starting IP address. Okay, of this U broadband router. So devices are getting an IP address 192.168.1.1, for example, 101, 102 like that. Okay, it is good working. Suddenly, what happened? The U broadband internet is down. So what we have done? We change the cable. We remove this cable. Okay, we remove this cable and connect the cable from here. That this IP address is not changing according to this network. According to this network, IP address is not changing. This is 0.1 network. 0.0 network, and the IP address is also 192.168.0.10 network. This is starting one. This is this kind of IP address. Different networks. Okay, so our devices, even we are connecting to the Airtel one, but we are not getting IP address as per this. The IP address is not changing and we are not getting internet because different IP cannot communicate. So we're not getting internet. So what is the problem? Because this IP is already configured and till the timeout, it won't be changed. Or either you have to restart or disconnect and connect it. So it is not changing. Even I change the network, IP address is not changing. What to do? At client system, go to adapter, right click, disable and enable it, or use ipconfig release and ipconfig renew. So then the IP address may update according to the current network. Okay. This is DHCP related troubleshooting, guys. Okay. Issues, network connectivity issues, APIPA issue.
Yes, sir.
So I thought I'm going to cover this DNS today, but so it's look like a very small topic, but we'll cover tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
So we'll discuss tomorrow about this DNS. Just I'm just copy pasting. Important is, guys, again, DNS is also a protocol, domain name system. Port number is 53. Again, what is the DNS server will do it? DNS server contains records of devices or services which maps device name and IP address. If you see here, it is this is my server. It is also a DNS server. So it is see the device name, and IP address. Reverse also there. Here it is IP address and FQDN. So this is a console.com. This is a console.com domain. Under the domain, this is a device. This is a server. This is exactly same server it is. This is a server. This is the server name. This is FQDN of server name means name of the server, name of the host, and the domain name. And this is the IP address of this server. That is the IP address of server. So you can see the IP address of server 10.0.0.2254 is a server IP. So what it is contains? It contains a record. If you see in a DNS server, you have a record. These are all called records. Host A record, host A record, alias record, MS record. So DNS server contains records of host or services and their IP addresses. Okay, host and their IP address under a domain. Okay, that is exactly DNS. DNS server contains records of host and their IP address under a domain. And this is another domain. So you can see this is different domain. This is A1 different domain. Okay, under a domain records. So this is a DNS server. It contains records of a device or a service which is map of device name in a domain to an IP address. Or you can say map of a device name to the IP address under a domain. Okay. So what is DNS server? Maps name to IP address. It resolve name to IP address. Guys, we are all communicating with the IP addresses only. But if you open something like I opened youtube.com, but I don't know IP address of youtube.com. So what happened? The request go to the DNS server to find www.youtube.com IP address. If you see www.youtube.com IP address, from the DNS server. So DNS server gives IP address of www.youtube.com. Okay, then we can able to communicate it to youtube.com. So that is what DNS it is. It's simple thing to understand, but possible tomorrow we'll discuss. Okay. At least you can able to read few things about it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's it for today. Okay. Meet you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. Okay. Yeah, you can leave.